We're out on the streets and we're doing street activism and we're telling people to go vegan. And then we're going home and we're going out with our friends and family and we're sitting down while they're chucking into a piece of cow. And it's kind of inconsistent with our own values.
In this video, we're going to talk about the Liberation Pledge, a promise not to sit at a table where an animal is being consumed. We'll talk about what that means exactly and why the idea was conceived at all. We're also going to be speaking to somebody who has taken the pledge to find out their experiences with it. Don't forget to like this video to help the algorithm push vegan content. Now let's get into it. As someone who is pro-animal rights, I don't see the remains of animals as food. It's not just food I don't like or that I refuse to eat, it is literally the body parts of animals that didn't have to die and only died for the pleasure of humans. For that reason, it's uncomfortable and it's upsetting for me to watch my loved ones pay for these animals to be killed and then consume their corpses. They don't even acknowledge what they're paying for. The victim is literally on their plates and they still can't see the suffering that they are causing. Any reminder that they're eating an innocent animal is quickly hushed. And for the vegan, despite being confronted with this disgusting and disturbing reality, there is a social code that they must keep their mouth shut so that they don't make the oppressor uncomfortable. And that creates inner conflict in many vegans. On one hand, we don't want to upset the social situation. We are social animals after all. But on the other hand, why the hell are we adapting our language and our behavior to suit the oppressor? What other social justice movement do we change our behavior to suit the oppressor? You would not sit down to eat with a plantation owner if you're against racism. So why the hell are we sitting down to eat with animal abusers if we're against animal abuse? But there are people standing up to this. There is a growing trend of people taking the Liberation Pledge. In essence, this is a pledge to never sit where animals are being consumed again. There are three parts to this pledge. The first is to publicly live vegan. Don't keep it to yourself, be loud and be proud that you stand up against animal abuse. The second is to publicly refuse to sit where animals are being eaten. Make people aware that their choices have victims and you're not cool with that. And the last part is to encourage others to take the pledge to create some sort of ripple effect. Now I know you're thinking, how the hell can we talk about the Liberation Pledge without talking about Chinese foot binding? In the Song Dynasty, one of Emperor Li Yu's female dancers bound her feet into the shape of a half moon to perform a specific dance. The emperor thought that the dancer was so beautiful that feet binding spread through the royal court. So soon, commoners also started to bind the feet of their daughters. The process would begin at 5 to 7 years old. These young girls would have their 4 smaller toes wrapped under their feet and bound with a bandage. Then, their entire foot would be folded into an arch, which would then also be bound. As you can imagine, this was extremely painful, and the young girls would have difficulty walking. And after a few years, their feet would just become numb.
Oh, bleeding heck, I can't feel me bloody feet.
The process would be repeated week on week, tighter and tighter, and the aim was to get the feet as close as possible to 3 inches. This practice went on for 1,000 years, despite a fair amount of opposition. Activists would educate people and lobby authorities,
What are you doing?
but they saw little change. That is until 1890, when campaigners created a public pledge, where families were grouped together and promised not to contribute to the problem.
We ain't doing that anymore.
They promised they would never bind their daughters' feet, and they refused to be complicit in the problem by disallowing their sons to marry women who have bound feet. The pledges started off slow, but the ripple effect was strong, and by 1912 it was made illegal. Now, like many of you watching this, I don't know what to think. Does this ripple effect translate into an animal rights context? Does my effort make any difference at all? And will my social life be affected too much? Now, I haven't got the answer to these questions, so I thought the best thing I could do is get someone who I know who has taken the pledge and ask them some questions. This is Rebecca Owen, who some of you may know as Vegan Pixie Warrior. She's been kind enough to give us some time to talk about the pledge and her experiences with it. Do you think it's important for people to take the pledge?
I'd love for everyone to take the Liberation Pledge. I think it would be absolutely powerful and fantastic and a great thing to do. But I get that it's not for everybody. But there are 3 different ways. The first way is for you'll sit with people that are eating vegetarian food. The second option is you'll only eat with people that are eating vegan food. So again, it'll be non-vegans. And the third and final option of taking the pledge is to eat only in vegan restaurants. We're out on the streets and we're doing street activism and we're telling people to go vegan. And then we're going home and we're going out with our friends and family and we're sitting down while they're chucking into a piece of cow. And it's kind of inconsistent with our own values. every time I went out, when I was seeing friends and family, I was becoming anxious. I was becoming upset because I wasn't seeing what they're seeing. You know, as a
Yeah.
vegan, when you go, you don't see the bit of chicken piece. You see the chicken hanging up from her hind legs, being dragged through an electric bath and having her throat slit. That's what I see. That's what I visualize when I'm seeing animals being eaten in front of me.
James Aspey at one point said that he won't take the pledge because when he sits at a table with someone who's eating a dead animal, that's a great time to talk to them about veganism. So
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
The experiences that I've had when I've brought up, you know, animal rights, when
Yeah.
someone's eating a cow, is they're putting that piece of meat in their mouth and they're either going to go, can you
Yeah.
stop talking about this now? Because I'm trying to eat and you're putting me off. Or they're going to rub it in your face and they're just going to go, and be really sarky about it. But
No.
if they're eating vegan food,
Mm.
completely different. I just feel that since taking the pledge, the fact that it's called liberation is how I feel. I feel liberated at the table. I'm not stressed about eating with friends and family anymore. And like I said earlier, the tables have turned. Rather than me bringing it up, they bring it up. They ask questions. So why? So what do you do about this? What do you do about that? I said to my father and mother-in-law that I'd taken the pledge and why I'd taken it. And the reaction was not, it was okay, but it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
This is very extreme. We're never going to eat together again. You know, that's not going to happen for us to take the vegan option. I went, you ate the vegan option today. Oh, okay. And then even my husband was like, Mum, you often have the vegetarian or vegan option, so it's not going to be that much of a big thing. It would be more my father-in-law because he was a meat and two veg sort of guy, but actually he was fantastic. When I phoned my mother up, it was it wasn't great. Again, that was a mistake I made. I'd just taken the pledge. I would recommend to anyone taking the pledge, don't tell people over the phone. Alex Bears, he did a video and he went out for a coffee with his mum and told his mum over coffee, face to face. And that's what I would do. Even invite your family over for a meal and, you know, your friends over and cook them food.
So I noticed your bracelet, the fork bracelet. Did you make this yourself or did you buy it?
I wish I did. No, I bought it. But yeah, this is the one that I bought.
What
So
does it say
you
on
can
there
have-
then?
It says liberation.
And I guess
then
they've
there's
sort
like-
of
it's quite
taken
free,
the
there's
points
like
out of it.
A little
yeah.
rose out. No, it's still got the points on.
Oh, okay. And do you wear this all the time or?
Not so much in lockdown.
Did you put it on especially for this?
I did put it on for this video. Yeah, I am stuck at home at the moment, so I don't really need to have it on. But if I'm out of the house, it's on my arm, definitely. 100%.
Is it sort of a conversation starter?
Yes.
I really hope you learned something about the Liberation Pledge today. Whether you're considering taking the pledge or even if you're not, do let me know in the comments what you think about it. Is it effective? And if you have any questions about the Liberation Pledge, I would say the best place to go is actually Vegan Pixie Warrior's channel, and I know she'll be happy to talk to you. And while you're over there, why not hit that subscribe button? Remember that any interaction with a video helps the algorithm promote it, so if you want to do something small to promote veganism, there's a pretty simple way to do that. Thanks for watching.